Well, holy shit. Is the volume good? Let me know, guys. Make sure you can hear me. Not too loud, hopefully. Don't worry, guys. I know someone who works at McDonald's, and there's always room there. I'll be posting an application on my Twitter page later. You guys can fill it out. Everything is gonna be okay. Maybe. Oh, oh my God. So just give it a couple of minutes here, guys, for a few people to join, and then we'll get going. Is it too loud? Yo, what up, Colonel? How you doing, bro? All right, so I'm just gonna give this thing until 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and then we'll just get going with whoever's here. Um, yeah, fucking blow this shit up. Give me some likes. So, Jesus Christ. All right, so let's get going here, guys. So, Shrek, what's up? Dilly Dilly, what's up? What's up, all of y'all? All right. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to step up my SEO game. Well, I did not think we were gonna be here when I woke up today. I did a video just yesterday, and I was gloating about my short from 9100 and closing it at the range low, thinking, this was going to be the move. So, did I get wrecked? No. Did I lose money? Absolutely. So, let's just check on my trades that I entered before bed last night, real quick here. All right, let's see how this one turned out. Okay, not so good. Not so good. Maybe this one did a little better. Nope, also fucking absolutely horrible. So yeah, obviously these ideas didn't work. So I've updated them. Both trades. I closed this one manually earlier today before we went sub 100, and this was stopped out. I woke up to this being stopped out. So I went to bed last night. Bitcoin was at $7,600. So we were trading here in this candle. And I was talking about, I was bearish up here. So, I shorted here. I shorted here, right? I shorted again here. And then I closed this short here. Closed this short here, thinking I crushed it. Then I kind of was expecting something like this. Obviously, that was wrong. I've been on a killer streak since here. So getting shit wrong, it's bound to happen. Obviously, this is nuts. I got slipped on my one trade, like pretty decently. But I used stops. Someone asked me because my stop was super far from my entry in terms of a percentage. I still only was risking 5% on the trade. So even though my stop might be 15% away, based on how you calculate your position sizing, you can still choose how much of your account you're willing to risk. So I was risking 5%. I think I got slipped to like losing 7 total. So I didn't get wrecked. I mean, it fucking sucked. But also, I own Bitcoin. So a lot of the Bitcoin that I've owned has lost value. Luckily, I've been pretty diligent about taking profits along the way here, buying back here and taking some profits here. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I hedged 100% of my Bitcoin at the top, because I didn't. I hedged pretty heavily at the top and I posted it on Twitter. But at the end of the day, I did not hedge all of my Bitcoin. I still own Bitcoin. I have Bitcoin in cold storage, that's in a safety deposit box at a bank that, it is what it is. So, do I think Bitcoin is dead? No. This looks absolutely fucked. But it is what it is. I literally woke up in the middle of the night to go pee, and Bitcoin was at 5,800, and I kind of was like not sure that was real. And then I just like went back to bed, and then I woke up and it was at like 6 grand. So when I woke up, this is kind of what I tweeted. Going to sit back and reevaluate some fresh charts. Looks and sounds like capitulation. This was at 6,000, right? So I'm glad I didn't just buy, being like, oh, that was it, because obviously we dropped all the way down on BitMEX, at least to 3,600. I mean, there was obviously some fuckery going on at BitMEX. I mean, 3,700 here. Look at this chart. Yikes. Let's just delete that shit. Like I got one for F too. Oh no, those trades stopped. Anyways, times like these make me very happy that I don't own any altcoins. Because outside of like some spot Ethereum and some spot Tezos, I don't really own any alts, which is nice. But regardless, I mean, this is crazy. I wasn't expecting this violent of a dump. I did realize, at the end of the day, a lot of people are on Twitter gloating, right? And, kudos to them. Some people crushed this move. There's a lot of people who were calling for lower prices. For me, the way I trade, this is a higher high. But for the way some people trade, this is a higher high. This is not a higher high until it closes through this wick. So most of those people didn't say that this was not a higher high until here. But, whatever. A lot of people are like, boom, we tagged the 200-day moving average. Boom, the gloating, blah, blah. I mean, at the end of the day, say whatever the fuck you want. Brag all you want. You do have to realize when shit like this happens, like some people are seriously fucked. Like I've gotten some very sad direct messages, in Discords with people talking about how much they've lost, and it's like, it's all fun and games to collect your Twitter clout, but like, some people are unfortunately overexposed to this market. I've said this so many times in videos in the past. I'm never all in on crypto. I have a business that I run. Crypto and trading is something I love and I'm passionate about, but if it all went to zero, I'm still good. That's not the case for some people, and it's not my position to tell them how to live their lives, but I absolutely don't want to be there shitting on them, at times like this, right? I think it's just in poor taste. So if you're feeling fucked up about this, you could DM me, hit me up on Discord, hit me up on Twitter if you just need someone to talk to. Like, I don't want anyone doing anything dumb because this happened. Life goes on. You can make the money back. This is a lesson. Obviously, this is a crazy one, and it might have cost you a lot of money, but, there's always another day. You're alive. Hopefully, you don't have coronavirus. And we can make the money back, right? Now is a perfect opportunity to sharpen those skills and, make sure you're prepared if something like this ever happens again. But sometimes events like these, you just can't predict them. And you always got to be prepared, whether that means hedging, using stops, not risking more than you're able to lose. Life sucks sometimes. These lessons can be painful. They can cost you a bunch of money, but please don't do anything stupid. So yeah, if you need someone to talk to, let me know. I can lend an ear. I'm not a therapist or a counselor by any means, but I don't want to see anyone. I know people are hurting out there, and it's it sucks, but most of us are hurting. A lot of the people that are bragging about being like, I fucking called this. It's like, okay, sure, you called it. Did you trade it? Right? Did you actually trade it? Did you make money? Also, a lot of people that were calling for a crazy move down like this, have been calling for that move this entire way up. Right? So, take everything with a grain of salt. Today is the type of day where you see a bunch of people just retweeting old tweets from like weeks and months ago, being like, I fucking told you. I've been guilty of that in the past too. So, maybe it's the pot calling the kettle black here, but I never want to see anyone, get too fucked up over this. It's just money. At the end of the day, it is just money, and you can always make more one way or another. You can sell your body. You can sell your semen. You can sell your blood. This shit you can do. You can get a job. You can fucking work on your game, improve your trading, make the money back. You know what's going to happen now that we've had this move? We're going to have some crazy volatility, right? So try not to think of it as a negative. Try and think about the opportunity that is now presented to you. So, all that stuff out of the way. Like I said, if anyone's got any shit that you're dealing with, you need someone to talk to, holla at your boy. I got you. Obviously, I'm bummed. I shorted here and I closed it here. I would have made so much goddamn money if I had closed it down here. But I had talked about this potential thing happening. I'm going to delete these levels now because they're obviously no longer relevant. Fuck. But I basically said, either this is a higher low, or if we lose this low, I talked about this in my video yesterday. There's liquidity further down here. Unfortunately, we could go all the way down. This seems like capitulation to me. It's very hard to tell. Just based on what we're seeing on Twitter. Obviously, this is crazy. We dumped like 50% in a day. So to think that this might not be capitulation, kind of like, here's your first leg to 6K, like right here, right? Like that's your 6K leg is here, right? And then, this is just a fucking huge candle. So we've never seen anything like this. I've been in crypto since 2014. I've never seen anything like this. So, I can't tell you what's going to happen next. This feels like capitulation to me. So I'm not looking to just jump in here, right? Like if this was the bottom here, you got another chance here. This took some time. I don't think this is just going to go, like this. To be honest, I think it's more likely that we make another low, and then sideways and then go up than I do think that we're just going to V bottom and just fucking reverse. That being said, I've never seen anything like this before, so I don't really know what to fucking tell you. I wish I could tell you that it's going to be okay, but what this has done for me has at least confirmed some theories about Bitcoin. Maybe if we draw some trend lines. Does this make us feel any better? I don't know. This kind of makes me feel better. But, what this has done, and maybe let's just say I'll draw this too. There you go. There you go. Look. Perfect. That's the bottom for sure. So, what this does do, first of all, we've got to be in line for some relief. I've never seen anything like this in my life. But what this does do, in my opinion, is confirm some, theories, that I have about, the crypto market and just, the financial markets as well. So, a black swan event, right, is like an unpredictable event that's kind of beyond, anyone's control or expectation. And generally it is, has severe consequences. So they're usually, extremely rare. They have severe impact. in hindsight, you're like, oh, the reason for this dump is the corona epidemic, right? So, they can usually cause catastrophic damage to the markets, right? And then in hindsight, you can go, okay, well, that's the reason for it. A perfect example would be, the 2008, financial crisis. People could say, the black swan event was, potentially the broken, housing market, and basically the movie The Big Short, right? That was the tipping point, which then began the recession. The housing market crash at the top, and then the recession that resulted, people could say that is the black swan event, right? That led, and then in hindsight, you go, well, the housing market crash led to the recession. So in this instance, right, you could say, well, the black swan event is coronavirus. It's COVID-19. So I mean, the stock market itself looked like it was nearing a top. And if you go on Fin Twitter, holy shit, this looks bad. If you go on Fin Twitter, right, everyone's been trying to short the stock market all fucking year. Right? Everyone has. Go look at FinTwit. Most people have been trying to catch the top of the stock market because everyone thinks a recession is coming. Just like in 2008. Many of you may be too young to remember. I was young in 2008 as well. But everyone was trying to catch the top of this thing, right? And then we have the housing market crash. It finally did crash, right? And then, it obviously began to recover. People said, oh, well, the housing market crash was the black swan event that led to the recession. So Corona could be that, event that people can now say, well, this is the reason for the crash. In reality, in my opinion, the stock market crash was bound to happen sooner or later. Maybe the coronavirus epidemic is the straw that broke the camel's back. It was just a matter of when it was going to crash and how hard it was going to crash. Some interesting points, like the last recession. Is everyone still with me? Geez, 164 viewers. I mean, when price was at 10K, I couldn't get fucking 50. Loving it. Loving it. I took a Xanax. My man. Save me some. What's up, Astro? Yeah, I'll talk about BitMEX in a bit, Lucas. Yeah, cheers to you, my friend. Trader Cause, what up, dog? Okay. Fuck Max. Okay, I'm just going to continue talking here. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that, bro. Let me continue here. So some interesting points about the last stock market crash, right? The recession happened in like October of 2007. That was right around the top, right around here, okay? And so in totality, the stock market dumped from, let's call the top October 2007 all the way until, March of 2009. Okay, and it was about a 58% dump from top to bottom, and it took over a year, right? Now, by March of 2013, price had basically recovered to pre-recession levels. So essentially you have a 5-year span between the top of the recession, it bottoming and recovering to reach back to break even, let's call it, for lack of a better term. However, the amount of time that it dumped, it only took a year and a half to dump, and then it started recovering, right? So, something to be aware there. And then by 2018, right, so, a couple years ago, basically we have doubled we have doubled, the stock market. So from the top of the recession to 2018, basically we've seen, 100% gain, right, in the stock market. So if you would have bought the absolute top, held for 10 years, you double your money. So why is this interesting? Well, for a few reasons. I think there was a lot of money, obviously, to be made during this drop. A lot of savvy investors were buying real estate and blue chip stocks at significantly discounted prices. Okay, when you go look at the charts of some of these stocks, right, in 2008, let's look at Apple, for example. So where's Apple? Here's the recession, right? And then, right, it's climbed out, and then obviously, it's gone gangbusters. I mean, now you could say Apple, the technology, blah, blah, blah. That's the reason. We can look at other companies as well. Let's look at like a Boeing. Oh my God. Big yikes. But here's Boeing in the recession, right? Dropped huge. And then a few years later, same idea, 2013, it had recovered those pre-recession levels. And then look where we are now. Even though we have dumped huge, we're still above, where the last recession started. And obviously the price from here, this is a, 300% gain from the recession highs to all-time high. So a lot of these big companies, they're not going anywhere. Right? So there's a lot of money to be made in buying some of these blue chip stocks during a time like this. Am I saying the recession has started for sure? I don't know yet. Do I know how long it's going to be? Has the bottom already been placed in? I have no idea. But in my opinion, now is definitely the time to pay attention. A lot of these blue chip stocks are down double-digit percentages, and the charts look fucked. And that's what most of these looked like in the last recession. Now you have to be aware. A lot of these companies, Boeing is not going anywhere. Apple is not going anywhere. So in my opinion, these stocks will recover and they will far exceed their previous, all-time highs in the future. It's just a matter of time. Obviously, a lot of us are from crypto. So we like instant gratification. I want to see a bull run happen in a year, not 10 years. The legacy, the traditional financial markets are obviously different. I could go down, a rabbit hole about how I think, what you're seeing happen on, the global scale right now in terms of the recession, and all of the, kind of news and media shit that we're seeing. It's all 100% orchestrated. In my opinion, the entire game is rigged. And it's all interlinked. The people who own the banks, they own the media outlets, they own the pharmaceutical companies, the insurance companies, and the general public are the people who get screwed in a recession. Not the elite, or lack of a better term. The markets crash, the media feeds you some fucking bullshit recession narrative. People eat it up. Your dollar value of the buying power of your dollars are decreasing, your assets are devaluing, you're liquidating your assets. It's a recession, so you're like, oh, it's just the way it is. Only when to find out that after a few years, the market has returned. All of those assets, your house, your investments that you sold, have not only recouped their value, they've increased their value. And guess who you're buying it back from? Those same fuckers that you sold it to at the fucking bottom, you're buying it back to at the top. It's no different than the fucking whales that you see or that you want to talk about in crypto, right? You're selling them at the bottom, you're buying it back from them at the top. So I think the entire financial markets are no different. I think crypto is just a microcosm of that. I think it's a massive fucking pump and dump and value transfer from those with knowledge to those without. But that's my tin hat, for my tinfoil hat spiel. I mean, believe it, don't believe it, I don't really care. But the bottom line is this. In my opinion, now is definitely the time to pay attention. I think there's going to be a lot of money to be made in the coming weeks, months, and years if we are, in fact, entering a recession. I think you need to be smart, just like in crypto. Don't try and pick the bottom. But a lot of the bottom will take time to form. We don't know how long this recession is going to last, but a lot of good stocks look cheap right now, in my opinion. Can it get worse? Absolutely. There's no way to know when the recession will end, but I'm starting to pay attention for sure. The one thing that is of note, we've dumped faster in this beginning of a recession or this pullback, and dumped further than we have in the previous recession. And I do think the proliferation of things like algorithmic trading and high frequency trading technology play a role in that. I also think, using that logic, that this recession could happen faster and then recover faster. So instead of taking 5 or 6 years to recover, it could take half that time. What is this information based off of? Absolutely nothing. This is just a fucking idea of mine. I have no evidence to prove that this is true. This is just a theory. I do think this corona situation, especially in North America, is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. The NBA, the NHL, all these major sports are suspending their seasons. I think we're going to see what we're seeing in Europe happening here too. I think we're going to see a major uptick in fucking case numbers and shit. So absolutely wash your fucking hands and stay away from people. Not that any of you fucking nerds have, I say you fucking nerds, not that any of us, I'm one of you, fucking nerds have to worry about that shit anyways. So from my last update, on Bitcoin, obviously things were looking a lot better. I thought we were kind of potentially forming, a bottom somewhere between, here and here. Now, obviously, in hindsight, this is just yet another lower high, and we've just wiped this low out. If I'm just looking at this chart with absolutely no bias, this low looks ripe for the picking. But I'm going to put those lines back on. They make me feel better. But this does seem capitulation-esque. So I've pulled this fucking block from right over here. It's like a 3-day block that, kind of led on the way up. Obviously, you see the breakout, the retest here. We have some nice interaction here. So, I've also picked out a ton of blocks that have briefly stopped price and then only to be nuked later. So I'm not touching shit in crypto right now. It's pretty hard to tell anyone to ever want to invest in this market after seeing this. Like, I've never seen shit like this before in my life, and I can't imagine like telling a friend, being like, well, Bitcoin looks pretty cheap right now, because this shit is just nuts. Obviously, it's clear that Bitcoin is, still an extremely, infant market. The market cap is, dwarfed and peanuts compared to, the traditional markets. Obviously, price is extremely manipulated and highly speculative. I think that, many Bitcoin maximalists and some people, were saying, Bitcoin might be a safe haven if we're entering recession. I think those theories have obviously been discredited. Much like that theory I just gave you about the speed of the recession, the market is going to tell us what's true and what's not in a matter of time. And clearly, I think that decision has been made in terms of a safe haven asset or a risk-off asset. I never really thought Bitcoin was a safe haven. I think the price is, very much just speculative, and the market itself is highly manipulated. So, these price movements kind of confirm that theory to me, at least. At the end of the day, and I talked about this in my video yesterday, and I wish I would have just sold all my Bitcoin when I talked about it. We've never seen Bitcoin in a recession. The first block was mined in, January of 2009. So, January 2009, the stock, like literally the bottom of this, here, let's add that to my tinfoil hat conspiracy theory here. The first Bitcoin mine, and we started the greatest bull run of all time. Coincidence? I think not. I'm fucking on to you, Alex Jones. regardless, the fact that we are potentially entering a recession, coupled with this coronavirus outbreak and the price movements we're seeing on Bitcoin, I obviously don't think that this is a safe haven asset. And clearly, Bitcoin is not immune to the systemic risk imposed by the stock market. A correction in the stock market. So, I mean, what does this all mean? Obviously, just be careful. I've said this so many times, and in times like this, it is super relevant. Never risk more than you're willing to lose. Like, if you are fucked because of this move, you need to reevaluate your strategy in terms of what amount of your net worth you have in this extremely speculative asset. Do I think Bitcoin is going to zero? No. Do I think Bitcoin will be here once the recession is over and once the dust settles? Yes. So I am, I don't even want to say I'm bullish because like, what the fuck? But like, I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. Insert Wolf of, excuse me, Wall Street meme here. But there's also no reason to try and catch a knife right now. Could this have been the low and you longed it and you're a fucking god? Maybe. But if Bitcoin has shown us anything in its history, is you will have time to buy the bottom. It will, form some sort of range before moving. So obviously, this was distribution, all of this price up here. So we want to see some sort of accumulation. I want to see some sort of sideways price action before I even think about getting involved. So there's just nothing here for me right now. There's absolutely nothing here for me. In reality, if for some reason we come up here, you sell the fuck out of it. You do not long it. But I'm not touching shit right now. I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to let some price action develop. And I know that sounds corny as hell, but if I'm getting in a trade with leverage right now, just based on what you saw on BitMEX had to do with their liquidation engine. Sam from what's that fucking exchange? FTX did a big thread on it. He's going to be able to understand. First of all, he understands that and articulates it way better than I ever can. But just based on a massive amount of liquidations that we just saw and the huge change in price, I am not comfortable in any way in being some sort of, majorly high leveraged position right now. I know some people very aptly are playing, the arbitrage of, longing on high leverage when there's a huge discrepancy between the spot contract and the actual, underlying price. But that's not a game that I'm interested in playing. After I shorted 9,100 and closed at like 7,800, I made a solid amount of money. Generally, I like to step back after a really good trade, because the worst thing you can do, and something I've done so many times in the past, is just be like, holy shit, I just nailed a fucking trade. I'm on a heater. Let me hop in another one. And I ended up giving back half of the gains I had just made. So, not interested in doing that. Would much rather, let the market settle a bit. And at the end of the day, I still own Bitcoin. A lot of that Bitcoin lost value today. But if I wake up tomorrow and Bitcoin is like this, I'm not going to be mad. Like, yeah, I'm not in a leveraged position, but I've, just inherently made, a bunch of money from, Bitcoin just moving. Sorry, I just got to answer this. I've made a bunch of money inherently from just owning Bitcoin, right? So no need to rush, in my opinion. Also, there's no guarantee that this is the bottom. Maybe it is, but if for some reason we want to, price wants to come back down to this wick, you got to remember, right? The orders of magnitude of price movements change exponentially when price is lower, right? 10,000, why do I always do this? But 10,000 to 11,000, right, is 10%, right? But 3,000 to 4,000 is way more. So $1,000 price move at these prices is way more than it is above 10K. So remember that. Be careful. Math just got hard again. We're no longer at 10K Bitcoin. So even if we're just to revisit the low that we made, that's almost a 30% drop. So if you're trading high leverage and you're like, oh, I'll just put my stop below the low here, be fucking careful. All right. So, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Okay. Too many licks in the queue. Yokos. Okay. Yeah, like live chat last night, some guy called in, he lost everything, didn't tell his wife. Yeah, like that's fucked. Like I hope no one's in those types of situations. I'll post that McDonald's application later, bro. Um, Sucks living in PST. I agree with you, bro. Everything happens when I'm sleeping. When do I think we test all-time high? I think it's delayed until 2022 now. I have no fucking clue. I'm not in the business of guessing. I mean, even though I, was obviously clearly wrong about us bouncing significantly from here, I said I have no idea what's going to happen. We did break major market structure here. For me, it was just a matter of like playing it level to level. I got no levels right now. I mean, unless we're looking at, previous price action from way back here, I got no levels to play. I need some price to develop. That being said, the only thing I can kind of, make an assumption on at this point is if we do lose this low, I think that's unprecedented territory. This is already unprecedented. We've never seen anything quite like that. But if we lose this low, I don't even know what the fuck this was. I mean, this was just like a fucking lower high, and then what? Are we going to zero? I don't know. So, pray that low holds, I guess. That's what I'm here for. Me too, down 50%. I feel bad. For what it's worth, Bybit was flawless the entire day. That's good to know. I don't trade on Bybit personally. Yeah, I mean, hopefully. Thanks, Ragbone. Thank you, Austin. Altcoin virgin sperm. Mayne, do I want to buy your toenails? No, I don't, but I'm sure you can find someone who does. It's a big world out there with a lot of weirdos. Please show that chart with the Peter Schiff tweet on it. I mean, this chart was funny when it was right. How did this not get more likes? This shit was hilarious. Cred. This was funny because this guy literally called the absolute fucking top and then deleted it. He blocked me because he's a literal piece of shit, as you can see from his profile picture. And this is like one of the biggest authors on TradingView. It's unfucking believable. But at this point in time, in March, he was literally posting bearish, like, oh, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin goes to zero. It's worthless. And then he says it's a good time to buy. And now it's fucking, it turns out he was right here. I wonder if we can fucking look him up. Home. Stay on page. Home. Let's see if we can find people. Magic poop. I mean, look at this guy. This guy's got 70,000 fucking followers. Look at that. Is right where I said it would be. This guy's bragging, right? Look at him. He's bragging. Down 10, remains intact. So this is March 9th. Okay. March 5th, he was saying it was a good time to buy Bitcoin. March 9th, when Bitcoin dumps like a motherfucker, now he says his down levels are intact. I guarantee he deleted his bullish idea on here, right? Right? So March 9th, he's like, oh, I'm bullish, I'm bearish, I'm bearish, I'm bearish, after the fucking drop, right? So, I mean, don't let that kind of shit fool you. Fucking piece of shit, that guy. Echo bubble, just might be. Peter Schiff is loving this, for sure. Low key looks like a shit coin when you draw it like that. Yo, listen up. You didn't lose your money, okay? Technically, you lost your money. Yeah, exactly. Main live stream mini pump. Maybe. Should we go look at the 5-minute chart and see if we can see any sort of hopium. I mean, what the fuck is that level there? What is this? Is that my level? When did I draw that? Anyways. I mean, you know, Jesus Christ. I don't know. Inverted head and shoulders. Fucking moon it, lads. Here, we'll add one of these. Add one of these. Oh, what? Fucking retarded looking. What the fuck? There we go. Add one of these. There's got to be one for a moon, doesn't there? There's a star. There's the sun. People get like tuning into this stream expecting to get some fucking knowledge, and I'm just sitting here being a dickhead. There we go. Everyone feel better now? That looks good. I like that. What do I think of the Fed repos? What do you mean? Yes, sell your body, cause you especially. Thank you, Kevin. You're welcome, bro. Is the dollar going to collapse? So, I mean, thanks, Christopher. So the thing about the dollar, right? It's, you know, you want to talk about safe havens. You know, the dollar has held up extremely well. It's annoying because I run a business and we get a lot of, look at that. I don't even know where I had that level from, but I called the top. I should just post this on Twitter and be like, I fucking called it. You know, people can do this, hey? People can go like this. Right? I could do this. Screenshot it, right? And then screenshot again and post, right? So whenever you see people just post before and afters, always be a little wary. Like, it's so easy to doctor this shit. And I'm not even tech savvy. I'm sure there's even better ways to do that. But to me, I still think the US dollar is going to collapse. You know, that being said, right, like look at US CAD, right? So I have a financial guy who does like trades my US money for Canadian money within my business. And this guy's literally told me to sell my US dollar for Canadian, you know, pretty much at like every fucking bottom. He'll be like, yeah, you should sell now. It's a good price. Sell now. It's a good price. Sell now. It's a good price. And he literally got us to lock in so much fucking money, like right here. And then we hit like a fucking multi-year high, like a 5-year high. I'm so fucking cheesed. So yeah, I do think it will come down to earth eventually. But, you know, also the price of oil dropping hugely. Canada, very dependent on oil. So I think there's a, you know, a correlation there. Check the 6-month chart, he says. The 6-month. What about the 3-month? Oh, this is not the... Perfect. I mean, I don't even want to look at the 6-month. Probably looks even worse. Yeah, so I mean, that looks like dog shit. I don't know what to say. I mean, here's what I can do, though, to fix it. Just wait, just wait. Boom. All we need to do is hold the EQ of the 6-month order block, and then we will absolutely go to the moon. So easy. TA is so simple. Anyone else in the chat bewildered? I got in 27 bull run on top. Dude, I've been in since 2014 bull run and I'm bewildered. Yeah, I mean, if you tethered, you know, if you hedge, you know, right the fuck on. So, you know, what's up, Bradley, Marion? Yeah, like I don't use any algos personally. No, I mean I've checked out like gains these algos and stuff. It looks dope. I just like I don't I like to trade myself. So I don't really like to have anything automated. I'm much more of a manual kind of person. I'm also old, so maybe it's just beyond my depth from a technological perspective. I don't really want to trust something that I don't understand how it works. um, FTX I've not used. I've heard good things. The one thing that I find very cool about FTX is they have all of those cool tokens. Like they have the Bear token, they have Biden token where you can bid on the presidential odds, all this shit. I think they're being very innovative, which I like. Changing up the game for the longest time. BitMEX has been the only game in town. I mean, I don't consider Bybit or Deribit a threat, but I think the team they have at FTX and the innovation that they're showing in terms of what they're doing is cool. So, but yeah, I don't personally use it unless Sam for some reason is listening here and wants to DM your boy and hook it up with some sort of fucking fat deal. Okay, what else we got here? How's the soul journey going? It's going good, man. Been doing the kind of like 5x5 thing for about three and a half months. So just like deadlift, squat, bench press, overhead press. So that's kind of all I'm working on right now. Just kind of learning those core lifts and just like building up my strength. But I'm in the fun part, I think. Like I'm gaining good weight and all of my weights of my lifts are going up consistently. So I think that's kind of the most fun part of the journey. I know eventually things will start to plateau, but yeah, eating like crazy. A little nervous about this coronavirus. They might close my gym, but yeah, who knows? We'll see. Okay, Ragbone, you just skipped over my big question. Let's see here, bro. Then you must surf the tidal wave of free money and just begin buying crypto with both hands. First, fill your Bitcoin handbags and acquire all of the blah, blah, blah. Okay. The time to back up the truck is when the futures basis goes flat or negative. That will signal an evaporation of optimism. Is that your question? I don't understand your question. What do I think of Satoshi Flipper? I give Satoshi Flipper a hard time because I think he's just a fucking cocky, kind of holier than thou, my shit don't stink, marketer. I'm sure he trades and he makes money. He does post shit with balances and whatever. But I mean, the amount of times that guy has shilled the absolute top of altcoins and then acts like it's all good. And then the next day when it's dumped, like this is like a Satoshi Flipper tweet. Bitcoin looks really good right now. I'm all in. And then the next day, had to sell 100% of my, Bitcoin to Tether. Gonna wait on the sidelines for now, right? But if it had continued going up, he posts a tweet going, "Oh, like I fucking told you so," right? Like he's never wrong. He's never wrong, and he likes to rub it in other people's faces, and he's just kind of an asshole. And I'm not the only person who thinks that. It seems like almost anyone who interacts with him, he blocks instantly if you disagree with him or call him out on his shit. He's blocked a sea of people, and he just creates an echo chamber of, unfortunately, the brainless, who don't have two brain cells to rub together, who think that this guy's like some sort of trading messiah. Like at the end of the day, there's a lot of cringy people on CT. And I just think he's one of them. I'm not fucking perfect. I've made mistakes and been fucking dick sometimes, but like I like to think that I'm honest and I own up to my fucking mistakes, and I'm pretty transparent. If I shill the top of something and it gets fucking crushed, like I'm gonna let you know. I just fucking did that with Bitcoin. I just showed you. I fucking long the absolute top here. I just think he's a dick. The way he goes about it, he's a dick. And he's like, oh, I used to work at Accenture and I've got an MBA from fucking Kellogg. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, first of all, no one cares. And second of all, there's 100% chance you're lying. But yeah, if he ever wants to come where I am and he wants to do a little crypto Twitter celebrity boxing match, he can fucking get these hands. No, Gainsy, Crypto Gains. He has Crypto Gainsy. He has an algo, and Altcoin Psycho also has an algo. That would be where I would look. Okay, so Arthur said that in his newsletter. The time to back up the truck is when the futures basis goes flat or negative. That will signal that evaporation of optimism. So, I mean, I assume, I don't know for sure if this is what he means, but I assume what he's talking about is when the futures price on Bitcoin. So if you look up, XBT 20, or what would be the fucking meh. Where's the June contracts on here? Right? So when you have the price of the futures, right? So basically the futures work in, there's no funding on the futures contracts, but there's a settlement date, right? So these contracts settle at whatever price the spot price is. So right now it's 46.94 on June 26, 2020. So if the spot price, right now, which is higher than the contract price, this contract is in what's called backwardization. And so I mean, if Bitcoin is bullish, generally the futures contract will be higher than the spot contract, which is called contango. And generally that is a sign of optimism in the market that the price of Bitcoin is going to be higher in the future, right? Whereas if the futures price is in backwardization, relative to spot, the futures contract is backwardization relative to spot, that's generally a bearish sign because it's saying, 3 months from now in June, we expect price to be lower, than it is now. Maybe that's what he's referring to. I do not know 100%, to be honest with you. All right, I've got a couple more minutes and I got to bounce. My girlfriend's here now, and it's getting late. I don't want to get coronavirus, so I got to sleep. How do I think gold is looking? So I personally think gold is topped here. So if you look at the weekly chart, like I do believe that gold is beginning a bull run, right? So the thing about the traditional markets, right, is they move so much fucking slower than crypto, right? But basically what you have here is a massive accumulation range, right? This is 1,800 days, right? This is years. This is 5 years of accumulation, and then we broke out, right? So to give you some perspective here, remember this on Bitcoin, right? This 45-day accumulation range led to a big breakout once we broke the range high, broke out, boom. I think the same thing happened on gold here, right? So I think we had this huge accumulation for 5 fucking years, right? And then we've now broken out of that accumulation, right? And we're starting a leg. I absolutely think gold in the future will break a new all-time high. But I also believe that, this leg, is quite extended. So we're getting towards that, OTE retracement. This is the monthly chart. Look at those 2 candles. That is not good. Right into that OTE, also right into, heavy This is a monthly bearish order block right here. So this is the order block that led to this downtrend and breaking of this swing low and this accumulation range. We're now back up in there. We're at the OTE, so just a deep pullback. That's all that means. And we have these two kind of huge doji. One is closed already. The other one looks like it's going to close like shit. So in my opinion, this is due for a pretty significant pullback. Where do I think it will pull back to? I think we could see quite a deep pullback on gold. I think we could see gold pull all the way back into this previous range high, right? Which would be kind of confluent with, again, the OTE, but going the other way, right? Or it could pull back lower. It could pull back, into this kind of block here, or even as deep as here. So that's kind of the area where I'm looking to buy gold, is on some sort of pullback down sub 1400. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad, R. Kelly, that you lost all that money, because you definitely shouldn't buy an alligator for your kid. Yeah, I mean, Bradley, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I've never seen anything like this at all. So I am completely flat on any sort of trades right now on Bitcoin. If you're looking at this chart, it looks like fucking absolute dog shit. So I'm not fucking touching it. I will rather wait and, let price settle. To me, you look at this chart, and if you're like, I need to rush into a trade, I think you need to get your fucking head checked. Anyways, I'm gonna end the stream here, guys. It's been about an hour, and I gotta go to bed. But once some price action is fucking settled, I will, and some stuff is developed. Hopefully, I wake up and I'm not, even more broke. I will do an update video, and maybe we'll have something better to talk about. At what point price BTC has to reach where you'll consider it wreck to recover? $0. If it goes to zero, it is fucked. I think if it goes below that 3,200 low, I don't even know. I think we'll have some crazy price action, but unless it does something like this, I could see this happening, I guess. Right? So if we see something like this, right? Maybe that's the only instance where I think, if it loses this low and then regains it quickly, I might consider getting into it. But yeah, if it loses that low, it looks pretty fucked. Would you buy spot right now? I mean, listen, I told myself, this entire way that if I ever got a chance to buy Bitcoin at 6,000 again, I would, and I bought some here. We now hit as low as 3,000. I'm not rushing to buy spot, but I'm a long-term, at the end of the day, I'm a Bitcoin bull. As much as this chart looks like absolute hot garbage, and this looks like it just wants to fucking go like this, I'm a Bitcoin bull long-term. So, absolutely, I'm, interested in Bitcoin below 5,000 USD. That being said, I own a lot of Bitcoin already, and if it does go to zero, I'm gonna cry, but I'm not gonna, it's not gonna be over for me, right? So don't risk more than you're willing to lose. Where can I go now for a good BTC live stream? Don Alt did one yesterday. Maybe watch that and see if he was the duck was able to predict this drop. He is pretty good at that stuff. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna sign off. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a good night. Stay safe out there. Wash your hands.